Welcome to Sports Source Game of the Week. I'm your host, Harris Arena. Tonight, it's a Region 8 4A matchup as the North Oconee Titans host the East Forsyth Broncos in a Friday night doubleheader at the North Oconee baseball field. It's a matchup that we got a preview of earlier this week when North Oconee defeated East Forsyth 4-1 on Tuesday. Sports Source reporter Ren Grimsley has more on the Titans as they look to make it 3 in a row.
Thanks, Harrison. North Oconee has been one of the most dominant baseball teams in the state for quite some time now. The Titans won back-to-back state championships in 2022 and 2023. I got a chance to speak to second-year head coach Eric Bounds to hear his thoughts on this upcoming matchup against East Forsyth.
Well, obviously, pitching's been a strength for us this year. We're giving up very few runs a game. The games where we are giving up runs, it's usually a mix of errors, and then we have a few walks here and there, and they end up compounding. But for the most part, we've been pretty strong on the bump. So,
what has been a weakness that you think this team can improve on as you continue on throughout the season?
I think so. Our big focus today, when we had our meeting, was that we make sure we try and pass the bat along, be better situationally with our hitting. I think that's always something you can improve on, but it's definitely something we're going to focus on this week.
Looking ahead to East Forsyth, what do you see about them that you're looking forward to in terms of matchups?
So very similar to us, very good pitching staff. I think they're working on trying to make sure they score runs as much as they can too. They're kind of, if you look at it on paper, we're a pretty even matchup. Velocity-wise, I think we're about the same. As far as their starting pitchers and our starting pitchers. So it's going to be a good matchup. I think the team that makes the least amount of errors is probably going to be the one that wins, whether that's mental errors or physical errors.
And off the field, what has been the team culture been like this season?
Team culture's been really good. We've got 13 seniors, so that's always a helpful when you've got guys that have been around the program. We've got multiple guys that have started since sophomore year. So those guys know what's expected of them, and they know how to push the other guys as well, so that helps.
Although this is only Coach Bounds' second season as head coach, he's been on the North Oconee staff since 2015, serving as the first base and hitting coach, and he was there for the back-to-back state championships. Now Coach Bounds has a solid squad again, and with a 13-3 record, this Titans team is looking to bring another state title to Bogart, Georgia. Back to you, Harrison.
Up next, we'll hear from Brady Logan, who got the chance to sit down with East Forsyth's head coach ahead of their first matchup against North Oconee. Welcome back to Sports Source Game of the Week. Let's turn our focus to the visiting Broncos, who will be looking to get payback on the Titans. Sports Source reporter Brady Logan caught up with East Forsyth head coach Kevin Counts.
Thanks, Harrison. I met with Coach Counts yesterday and had the opportunity to hear his thoughts ahead of today's doubleheader. And we spoke about the Broncos' 4-1 loss to the Titans on Tuesday. And Counts pointed out to the 10 free bases that the Broncos gave up through walks and hit batsmen as a large part of why the game turned out the way it did. However, Coach Counts is confident that his Broncos can come away with both wins later today.
I'll start out by, like we talked about the first time, talking about the 4-1 loss on Tuesday. Can you kind of walk me through that game and what happened?
Yeah, I got it pulled up right here. We were in a tight ball game, 0-0 after 2 innings. Bottom of the third, we found a way to score one, went up 1-0, but in the top of the fourth, we had some control issues, and they were able to score 2. And then, we had some opportunities throughout the game with some base runners. We ran into 3 outs on the bases. One of those is one that I'm okay with, but 2 of them we need to make some better decisions and execute a little bit better. But the moral of the story was that when I look back at the stats here, is they put us on base 1 time with 1 walk. And then we put them on 10 times with 7 walks and 3 hit by pitches.
Right. And you mentioned you got your number 2 guy coming out on the mound to start that first game on Friday. And I know how important momentum can be, especially in baseball. So as far as that first game goes leading into that third game, how important do you feel like it is for you guys to get that first win?
I feel like it's real important. I was looking back the other day. We've been playing these guys for 4 years. We're 0-8 against North Oconee. Now they've had some really, really good teams. And we were in the growth process of building our teams. But I feel like we match up with them this year better than we have in years past. For whatever reason, we've got a big senior group, and I think they do too. And I think we match well in that way. And I feel like we've got a chance to beat these guys. We got to get over that hump of who North Oconee is and whether or not we can play with these guys. And if we can convince ourselves that we can do it, then we got a better chance to win game 2 if we get game 1.
Right. And I know you mentioned that these are two of the best pitching staffs in Georgia for high school baseball. And I know you guys have a really strong senior pitching rotation. And so do you feel like a big part of this series, and you guys will probably see them again in the playoffs or in the postseason, but a big part of this series and these games is pitching? Is that the story?
Well, it was the story for me. It was the story on Tuesday. So I have to believe that that's going to be the story moving forward. How well our pitcher is going to pitch versus how well their pitcher is going to pitch. Now, the hitters have a lot to do with that too. And those guys, they come up to the plate, feeling comfortable and loose and competing. They're going to make it tougher on that pitcher. But as far as throwing strikes, executing pitches, that's going to be very important tomorrow when we go into this deal.
Despite being 0-8 against the Titans in the past 3 seasons, the Broncos know that with their elite pitching staff and their ability to play small ball in tight, low-scoring games, they have a strong opportunity to come out with a series win.
Coming up next, we'll dive into the analysis of this matchup with our analysts, Nick Erickson and Jaden Jones. They will give you all you need to know ahead of the game, like players to watch and even score predictions. Welcome back to the Sports Source Game of the Week. Let's dive deeper into both of these teams, starting with North Oconee and Nick Erickson. Nick, the Titans senior class has a chance to continue the tradition that has been established.
Harrison, North Oconee's baseball program is a powerhouse and a force to reckon with. Currently, the Titans are sitting in a comfortable spot against East Forsyth. They haven't lost to the Broncos in the regular season in over 4 years. In 2025, North Oconee went 27-8 in the regular season, accomplishing a 13-2 run in region play. After winning the first 2 rounds of the state tournament, the Titans fell to number 1 ranked Alatoona, ending their state championship hopes. For a program rooted in winning state championships, I would expect them to have a bounce back this season.
Nick, if you could pick just one player to watch out for, who would it be?
Oh man, that's easy. When you look at a dominant, well-rounded ball club, you have to have a dominant pitching staff, and that's what the Titans have. Look out for junior Davis Robinson, who's coming off a complete game with 10 punch-outs. I asked Davis earlier this week if playing in these region games has a different feeling than a normal regular season game, and his response was that of a professional.
I just really don't think much. I mean, I just go out there and throw. Try not to think about it too much.
Okay. You guys are getting a taste of them on Tuesday before hosting on Friday. Is there anything you're looking for in specific when you're studying these guys?
Not really. I mean, Coach Trammell gets me the game plan. We work fastball, cutter, curveball to get some depth, but mostly just what we see on Tuesday.
Davis will be one of the starters listed for the Titans on Friday. His strikeout numbers are elite, and his command is incredible. Watch for him this week to help lift the Titans.
Now looking at the Broncos side, let's bring in our analyst, Jaden Jones. Jaden, what can you tell us about East Forsyth?
Harrison, the Broncos are rolling this season. Before Tuesday's loss against North Oconee, the Broncos boasted a 7-game win streak, with 6 of the wins coming in region play. East Forsyth is on the heels of a solid 2025 season that results in a second-round appearance in the state playoffs and a 22-12 overall record, the Broncos' best in school history. Coach Count's Broncos squad currently sits 1 game above the Titans in a pivotal doubleheader later today.
Jaden, who are going to be the key players for the Broncos today?
I have 2 key ones to keep an eye on, Adiel Gibson and Jake Adamson. Gibson's a bit of a Swiss Army knife as he's slated to start the first game on Friday, while also batting 5th and sporting a .311 average. His ability to stay calm and stick to his mechanics will be a key as he searches for his 6th win on the mound this season. Adamson is known for his quick reaction time and laser-quick speed, which has helped him rack up 25 steals so far this season. Whether he's tracking balls at center field or leading off, Adamson will be an impact player in Friday's matchup and will continue his success from the previous game when he compiled 3 total walks and 3 steals. For Jake, this matchup is personal, especially since the Broncos are 0-4 versus the Titans in his varsity career. but this being a chance for the Broncos to solidify themselves as a contender. I recently asked Gibson and Adamson how important it is for the Broncos to set the tone not only for the first game, but the second one as well.
I think it'd be important, if we can get game one, it's just a big series. Like, this determines our region pretty much throughout. Because right now we're battling for first place with them. So if we get game one, get the momentum, it's just one game at a time, really. We can't really look ahead to that second game. We just got to show up, play our brand of baseball, and get that game one.
For me, I feel like coming out in the first inning, being loud in the dugout, picking everyone up, even if someone does something bad, keep going. Just keep pushing and keep going, basically. And then I think if we take game one with that momentum, game two, we go in with that momentum and we can keep it going and get the W.
Whether it's through Gibson's contribution on the mound or Adamson's quickness proving lethal on the bases, the two stars will have the work cut out for them in this matchup with massive standing implications.
Well, we've heard from our analysts about the keys for each team. When we come back, we're putting both of our analysts on the hot seat with a score prediction. Welcome back to Sports Source Game of the Week. We've gone over the key players to watch and heard some analytics. Now it's time to make score predictions. Nick, we'll have you bat leadoff. Who do you have winning this doubleheader?
Looking at the statistics and final scores over the past 4 years, history says that the Titans have this in the bag, and I would have to agree. North Oconee's baseball program is too well-rounded for them to stop the winning trend, and especially with Davis on the bump, Harrison, I'm going to have to say the Titans will win Game 1 by a score of 4-1 and Game 2 by a score of 3-2.
All right, Jaden, you heard where Nick is going with this matchup. What about you?
Harrison, I'm actually going to err away from the side of history. I think after a tough few days of practices and additional time to think about Tuesday's loss, that Jake and the rest of East Forsyth are going to come out on a mission and be too much for North Oconee to slow down. I'm going with the Broncos in a tight 5-3 matchup in Game 1 and a 3-1 victory in Game 2. They will surely come down to the wire.
Well, there you have it. Our analysts are split on this one. For everyone on our team, Ren, Grady, Nick, and Jaden, I'm Harrison Reno, and we thank you for watching our Sports Source Game of the Week.